the vibes, vibes, vibes. Yes, family, Messiah chiming in. Lodge up yourself, big up yourself. It's your one and only host, Selah, Shalom chiming in. You know what it is. It's the vibes. Yes, family, chime in, tune in, press likes as you come in. You know how we do. Yes, family. Yeah. Two-step to it. It's the vibes, vibes. It's the vibes, vibes. Yes, family, large up yourself. Large up yourself, big up yourself. As we two-step into the building. Yeah, we two-stepping into the building. It's the vibes. Yes, family. We're chiming in, yeah? Long day. Selah Shalom TV, according to the text, as it is written. It's the vibes. Yes, family. Large up yourself, big up yourself. All praises due to the Almighty Jehovah. I and I. Jah over I and I. It's not Jah Rastafari no more. It's Jah over I and I. You dig? Because Jah is the only presiding one over I and I. You dig? And it should be the same for you too. It's your boy Selah Shalom chiming in once again. I ain't got no specific topic. I just decided to get on. Because it's a vibe. And when it's a vibe, it's just that. It's a vibe, you know what I mean? We just gonna let the true inspiration of Jehovah flow off the top of the dome. Any questions and answers, we'll go ahead and get it started. Once the questions come in, we'll just start answering and going along like how we normally do. You know how we do. Peace to the family. Let me see who chiming in. Bazel, I see you. Takiva, I see you, sister. Stephen, I see you. I peace. Peace, I peace. Global Purpose, I see you. Kenneth, I see you. Kendrick chiming in. On the lookout, I see you. It's a vibes. Yes, family, everybody chiming in. Oh, set apart. Okay, I missed some. Immortal, I see you. Bazel, Jamie, Cedric, I see you. I see the champ. Okay, Eric Hamilton, Kayla, I see you. Peace to the family. Everybody chiming in, kicking in. Yes, family. Shout out to the family, the Creator Gang Gang. You know how we do. Creator Gang early. Creator Only Gang, COG. You know what I mean? Creator Gang Gang, CGG. Oh, what was that? Y'all seen that on the screen? That shit, this some other shit. It's a vibes. Yes, family. To all the righteous gods and goddesses, Neravinian gods and Neravinian goddesses, you dig? What's the deal, family? What's going on with y'all? What's on your mind? What y'all want to talk about? The Creator is the only way if you want true salvation. And exactly. Salvation comes from the Creator. Jesus Christ came to give you a message of the salvation of the Creator. Not to be confused with worshiping the Creator. You dig? It's a vibes. Yes, family. Peace and blessings, Lawrence. I see you. Yeah, man. We just vibing, yo. We just freestyling, vibing, Q&A. Any questions, holla. You know what I mean? We're going to the text, going to the archives of history, go into theology, whatever it is, we'll go into and tap in, because it's a vibes. You know what I mean? This is the recreational time, the time where you get away from the 9 to 5, the daily worldly activities, the everyday talk. And when you want to talk about something with more in-depth knowledge, experience, wisdom, spirituality, the things you don't talk about every day. The things you can't talk to your close ones about. Man, I got good friends, man, I can't even talk to this shit about. Because they're not there. So instead of me trying to beat them in the head with it, I just got to describe and show the ways of Jaja through my actions. Although they may not listen to the words from the Oahspe. Because they still in them streets. Them niggas ain't trying to sit around and hear thus saith the Lord. See, you got that part. You got that crowd of people you got to deal with too. Not just your religious folks, but those who just don't believe in nothing. It is what it is for them. They just living. You got those, the livers. Angelic, I see you. Peace. Ray, I see you. Do they say anything about vaccine boosters? If that question is a topic for Oahspe. No, we don't necessarily talk about vaccine boosters. You know what I mean? But it does talk about preventing diseases by dieting properly. You know what I mean? If we dieted properly, if we kept clean, it's like New York City, that's a junky ass city. You go there, you're gonna see spit, doodle, sewage, blood, guts on the pavement of the streets. You know, if we keep up in purity, we wouldn't have to deal with these pandemics that we got going on. You know what I mean? Not only do we got to worry about our own hygiene and unhealthiness. But we got to worry about the spirits of darkness who carry the same impurities as well. You got to watch out for that too. You dig? All praise to the Creator, no doubt. So what was the initial purpose for the redevelopment of North America? Well, according to Jaja, the revelation of Jehovah started on the continent of what they call Pond in the Pacific Ocean, and the spreading of the word started from east to west. And west, meaning North America, is the final frontier for the revelation of Jaja and the meeting of nations, because prior to this, the only people who occupied this land was the natives, the indigenous Americans. Nobody occupied this land like people occupied land in the eastern countries. You know, you had constant migrations from India to China to Africa, intermingled into Europe. You had those migrations heavily. But you don't find those migrations heavily in the Americas like that. You may have had some people who crossed the seas during spurts of time in history and left a document. You see documents of Egyptian relics here. They found some Roman relics here. So you see that they had visitations here. But as far as coming as the meeting of nations, where all nations will meet here, that is something new. Very new. And ain't too many other nations. There is no other nation like America in that sense, where you have an amalgamated of all nationalities in one melting pot. Like in Africa, you just got the Africans and different tribes of Africa. Same thing with Europe, same thing with India, same thing with China. But only in America you find that multiplicity, that diversity of people. You dig? Yeri Yahoo, I see you. Peace, King. Peace to the God. Peace to the righteous gods. You dig? Yeah. So we just here. You know what I mean? We just vibing it out. Ain't no particular topic at hand right now. Y'all got some questions, throw them in the chat. We'll get it in. It's a lot of love in the chat. That's right. Excuse me while I like my spliff. You know how we do. I see ain't nobody come back and rebuttal them videos I did about the gods, though. When I put God, Lord, and Yahweh being an angel, ain't nobody come back and say nothing. Ain't nobody come back and said, when I said, is the God of the Torah evil, satanic, or demonic? Niggas ain't came back and said nothing. They quiet. Because in order to come back and say something, you got to rebuttal those chapters and verses. You dig? And if you rebuttal those chapters and verses using the Bible, that's going to show a contradiction in your God. Can't go against your God. So now, alright, let me throw something out there. Let me see what's going on. Let's see what we can muster up here and get going. You know what I mean? I see the God Cap was on earlier going in on the Persian Empire of Oahspe. You know what I mean? The first sun city. Dealing with the sun, the ones who gonna, the whole New World Order concept came from them times, ancient Persia, and it moved to Egypt. And then it moved to Rome with the Illuminati, and then it came to America. You dig? Hold up. Yeah. Yeah, the whole concept of a New World Order, and the whole concept that the planet is full of people and it needs to be reduced because there's too many people, those things was tried in the past. I think it's a section in Apollo where it talks about it was too many people on the planet and it needs to be reduced. But that ideology came from the angels. I was like, look at this shit here. Let me see if I can find that verse. These gods ain't playing no games, man. It's a good thing that the Creator got these gods restrained in this day and time, in comparison to the time of old when the gods was real active with human beings. You know what I mean? Let me see if I can find that verse where it talks about that. I found that quite interesting. Yes, family. It's a vibes. Let me see if I can find that. Alright, so check it. Check this out, right? Check this out, right, fam? Now, this is in the book of Apollo, son of Jehovah, chapter what? Chapter 8, starting from verse, let's say, verse 4. Let's start from there. It states, "Let me recall the philosophers I have overthrown. The false gods and the false lords said, 'It is well that there be a war and destruction in heaven. Otherwise, it would soon be too full. For they saw not the higher heavens. Their arguments were framed in a small dark corner.'" Were framed in a dark corner. Now, this is the same thing you hear the New World Order say. They want to reduce the population down to 500,000. They want to reduce it, and they're going to use all type of methods to reduce the human population to control the masses. But what did the verse say? "Let me recall the philosophies I have overthrown. The false gods and the false lords have said, 'It is well that there be a war and destruction in heaven. Otherwise, it would soon be too full.'" That's the same thing these rich, wealthy elites say. They trying to dictate and play God, saying, well, the planet is getting too full. We need to get rid of the population and reduce them down to a particular number. That's exactly what the New World Order and the elites say. So again, it states what? "The false gods and false lords said, 'It is well that there be a war and destruction in heaven. Otherwise, it would soon be too full. For they saw not the higher heavens. Their arguments were framed in a dark corner. And because of their evil inspiration, they gave mortals the same philosophy, saying, 'War is justifiable, lest the earth become too full.'" See where we get it from? So when you hear about those talking about reducing the population to 500,000, understand that concept came from the angels of heaven. The unseen rule over the seen, the unseen inspire the seen. So the inspiration that is coming, the inspiration of this is coming from these angels who had the same idea to do their heavenly kingdoms the same way. As above, so below, as above. For they saw not the higher heavens. Their arguments were framed in a small, dark corner. And because of their evil inspiration, they gave mortals the same philosophy, saying, "War is justifiable, lest the earth become too full." For these dark angels shut out from mortals the higher light of faith in Jehovah, justifying themselves in war. See that? Your God in the Bible is a God of war. Oahspe speaks against going to war. Justifying themselves in war, and the slaying of whom Jehovah had created alive. But their behavior thrusting condemnation in Jehovah's face for what Jehovah had done. Verse 5. "Neither knew these mortal philosophers that they were under the inspiration of the spirits of darkness." You hear that? It says these philosophers did not know that they were under the inspiration of the spirits of darkness. So the same thing could be going on today. You and many others could be inspired by spirits of light or spirits of darkness unknowingly to you. That's the advantage that comes with the spiritual world. They can tap in and interfere with us without us even knowing it. See that? Again, "For as ye of heaven were given to deeds of darkness, your kingdoms reacted on earth, making drunks out of men and women." See that? Let me go back to verse 5 though. "Neither knew these mortal philosophers that they were under the inspiration of spirits of darkness, nor would they wait till the earth was full of people to prove whether their philosophy were true or not, or true or false." See that? They didn't even scope out the whole planet to see if the whole earth was full of people or not in order to even make an assessment like that. They just going off based off the inspiration they getting. See that? So again, the whole idea of reducing the population to 500,000, Oahspe is showing you this came from the angels. And this is during the time of Apollo. You're talking 18, 19,000 years ago. Huh? You're talking back then. So again, it states, "Let me recall the philosophers I have overthrown. The false gods and false lords said, 'It is well that there be a war and destruction in heaven. Otherwise,'" hold on. So now, let me run that back. "Let me recall the philosophies I have overthrown. The false gods and false lords said, 'It is well that there be a war and destruction in heaven. Otherwise, it would soon be too full. For they saw not the higher heavens. Their arguments were framed in a dark corner. And because of their evil inspiration, they gave mortals the same philosophy, saying, war is justifiable, lest the earth be too full. For these dark angels shut out from mortals the higher light of Jehovah, the higher light of faith in Jehovah, justifying themselves in war, and the slaying of whom Jehovah created alive, by their behavior thrusting condemnation in Jehovah's face for what Jehovah had done. Neither knew these mortal philosophers that they were under the inspiration of spirits of darkness, nor would they wait till the earth was full of people to prove whether their philosophy was true or not. See that? So this is a direct talk to the Illuminati and the elite who want to reduce the human population to under 500,000. This is for them. You're inspired by spirits of darkness, unknowingly to yourselves. Verse 6. For as ye of heaven were given to deeds of darkness, your kingdoms reacted on earth, making drunks out of men and women, from which have all these heavens turned from evil ways and become as stars of glory in Jehovah's universe. See that? Think not that only great thunders and terrible stratagems can govern heaven and earth righteously. For as one man in an army may cause a panic, or one brave man's uprised hand lead a nation unto victory, so can ye, O gods and lords, by wisdom in the smallest of Jehovah's plan, rule over heaven and earth for the glory of his everlasting kingdoms. For which I declare unto you, go ye and declare throughout heaven, for the fruit of your teaching shall enrich the earth's people through their guardian spirits, and they shall likewise go about preaching amongst themselves. So Oahspe is showing you consistently the inspiration of angels over mortals, the spirits of darkness or the spirits of light that have inspiration over you knowingly or unknowingly. And they're showing you that they're trying to reduce, this is in heaven. They talking about the heavens is vast, it's greater than the earth, and they're talking about the heavens being too full of angels. And that inspiration trickled down on the earth, which is going on right now. That revelation what we just read about the earth being too populated and that it needs to be reduced has been done before. It has been tried thousands of years ago in the Oahspe. And they're trying to do the same things now. What goes around comes back. That's the cycle. Well, at some point, people realize that we're in the era of cosmic knowledge and information. Yeah, no doubt. They may not understand it as the cosmic era. Some may look at it as the age of Aquarius, the water bearer. Some may look at it as the new age. And all that is right and exact. All that is right and exact. All that is right and exact. So again, it's showing you how the depopulate, the new world order, the whole new world order. That shit was right there. We just read that. We just read how the false lords and false gods try to justify warfare to reduce the population. But I don't understand how it's going to justify them, because the spirits of the dead are just going to congregate more in the heavenly kingdom. So how are they going to get rid of them? How are they going to get rid of the spirits of dead when they're already dead? Now, on a physical plane, we can see you kill off morals. All right, they physical body not on the planet. You bury them. Okay, they gone. But you can't get rid of spirits like that. You can't do that, buddy. You ain't getting rid of the spirits like that. Not that easy. Yes. The book of Apollo is a dope book too. Now check this verse. It's one verse over. This chapter 10 in Apollo. Chapter 10, verse 11 talks about the Etherian angels and how all these angels was one-time human beings with corporeal bodies like us. That's the beautiful thing about Oahspe. It shows you the post-existent life from flesh to spirit and how we become angels and take on titles as angels, as lords, gods, guardian angels. You know what I mean? While in the Bible, it got you separately thinking, separately believing yourself from the angels. Like in the Bible, you don't think you're going to become an angel. In the Bible, you think of the angels and then you think of you yourself. You don't think you're going to cross over and become an angel, because the Bible don't teach you that. The Bible teach you that the angel was just always there type shit. They just poof be there. It doesn't really explain where angels come from in the Bible. They just there. But in the Oahspe, it explains to you how angels become angels. one-time human being. So in order to become an angel, you had to be a one-time human being. Or if you didn't live a corporeal life, if you died in infancy or an abortion or miscarriage, you were still conceived in corporality, although you didn't live a life of corporality. So in order to be an angel, you had to be conceived in the flesh first. That's just how that goes. But see, in the Bible, they don't explain that. That's why a lot of people who read the Bible, it's hard for them to comprehend that. When we tell them, your Bible even say you will be as gods, but when we tell them from the Oahspe, nigga, you ain't going to be as God, you're going to become a God. And you're going to rule over one of these heavenly plateaus that Jehovah got out in his creation one day. Then they start scratching their head and be like, I don't know about that, man. But in your Bible, it gives you a precursor of that. So now verse 11 states, as the earth is opaque with transparent vortex around it. As the earth is opaque with the transparent vortex around it. See that? The earth has a transparent vortex. What does that mean? We cannot see the vortex. The vortex is the cause of the earth being created. Without the vortex, there would be no earth. So the vortex is transparent. That's when we look up, we can't see it. But the way we tell the vortex exists, by motion, by things in the spinner. The moon, the sun, they all spin. So that's the proof of the vortex in motion. So again, the earth is opaque with the transparent vortex around it. So not so, but opposite is the structure of an Etherian Avesta, Adavest. That's a spaceship basically, an Etherian spaceship. Being light and inhabited within as well as without. Like the Etherian worlds in the firmament, as Jehovah make worlds and send them forth in the places of his firmament, so in imitation of him, his Etherian gods and goddesses make Adavastas, spaceships, to transverse space from star to star, and from one Etherian region to another. Great in wisdom and power are Jehovah's Etherian gods and goddesses. Yet they too were once but men and women with corporeal bodies. These same angels that's transversing Jehovah's universe from Etheria to Etheria, from star to star, started off like us in corporeal bodies. See that? So regardless of how high the angel gets, it's always going to show you that they started off in corporeal bodies, showing you that system in order, showing you that connection, the physical and spiritual connection right there, showing you the angelical, the celestial, the terrestrial connection, showing you that when you terrestrially die and shed this physical body, you're going to progress in spirit atmospherically until you graduate etherically, and then etherically you transverse the cosmos, but you started off in this corporeal body. That's the beautiful thing about Oahspe. Ain't no confusion over here. We know what the hell an angel is over here. You see what I'm saying? You dig? That's exactly what I thought also of the angels in the Bible, no doubt. Mark 12:25. For when they shall rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given into marriage, but are as angels which are in heaven. See that? Bam, that's proof right there. So anybody who don't believe that you're going to become an angel, there you go. Mark 12:25 shows it. That's the proof right there. Shebrew, I see you. Peace to the fam. That's it. Who's that? Ira Immortal? Ira, how you pronounce that? Yeah, you hit it on the nail right there. So for those who don't believe that you become an angel in the Bible, you go to Mark 12:25, and it tells you right there. It says, right? When they shall rise from the dead, they shall neither marry nor give in marriage, but are as the angel which are in heaven. They go to proof right there in your Bible. Shout out to Immortal for that one. Because it's always a vibes. Yeah, yo, these things is deep, yo. That's the beautiful thing about Oahspe. You could damn near turn anywhere and start reading, and that shit'll be like, breath of fresh air every time. Every time. So for now, we're in the book of Apollo, son of Jehovah, chapter 13, verse 3. Created I him for the glory of angels and men. In his idols and images shall my people behold the harmony of shall hold the harmony of my beloved. With my own hands molded I the ankles and feet and well-rounded thighs. Behold the arms of my sons, no longer than to the thighs, and with dimples and small wrist. See, for those who don't know, during the time of Apollo is when the evolution of the human physiology changed. Verse 4. His neck is straight and slender and smooth and round, like the hind on the altar, and his shoulders like hewn stone, polished and tapering, like a woman's who goes not to war. Verse 5. His instep is high. He can spring like a deer, swift as the wind. He sitteth not on his hunches all day, with his hands down like a drunk that is tired, waiting for food. He fleeth to the plain and the forest on his swift feet. So they're describing the difference of how the new evolutionary physiology man looks and is moving, and his physique in comparison to the old. That's like the Homo sapien in comparison to the Homo erectus. The Homo sapien is more shapely, more physique, while the Homo sapien is more stooped over, you know what I mean, more goddamn animalistic in nature. So now, verse 6. Proclaim ye Apollo in heaven and on earth. He is risen. Higher than the sun is the holy begotten of Jehovah. Out of the virgin Ma, earth, he cometh holy. In symmetry and music, there is none like Apollo. So the purpose of Apollo, when he came to the earth, was to bring symmetry and music and harmony, rhythm, dancing, that type of shit. Niggas ain't have no rhythm prior to Apollo. Prior to Apollo, niggas was off beat. When Apollo came with them drums, them snares, them hi-hats. Yo, y'all niggas need to be rocking like this, alright? Do this. Alright, now count. Alright, do that, come on. That's what Apollo came with. He brought music to these niggas. Prior to that, niggas ain't had no rhythm. Yeah, prior to that, Apollo, them niggas ain't had no rhythm. Apollo would have been like the black folks trying to teach the white folks how to dance. The white folks would have been the human race at the time, off beat. And the black race would have been the angels of Apollo coming to teach these niggas how to snap your hands, everybody. Now snap your hands to the beat. That's what the goddamn angels came to taught man at the time. And when man caught on, man had 3,000 years. Because keep in mind, for every arc cycle, it's a 3,000-year reign to perfect that which was given by the archangel or the Etherian angel. So if Apollo came with symmetry and music, they got 3,000 years to perfect it. So at the beginning of 3,000 years, when the art and invention was given, at the ending of that 3,000 years, them niggas was on beat. They on beat, now they get it. Okay. Yeah, thank Apollo. And they never forgot it ever since Apollo. Symmetry and music been here ever since. It's one of those things that some Etherian angels, when they touch down to earth, they touch down with things that's forever gonna be here. It ain't going nowhere. That shit is embedded in the soul. Does the Oahspe speak on tenth and offerings? I know that Christians and the Hebrew makes a point. Nah, not really. The service done on Jehovah is the service, the token done unto Jehovah is the service done unto others in righteousness. That's the only thing. The service done unto others in righteousness is how you resurrect. And purity of your diet, thoughts, is also how you resurrect. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. No tenths, no giving, no foods and fruits. None of that. You don't need to pay tenth for nothing to get to this Jehovah's kingdom. Jehovah's kingdom is free. If you paying a token to go see your God, you better question that. Spiritual light, I see you. Peace to the beloved God. When I read that, I was like, that's what's up. Apollo was jamming. Exactly. When Apollo came down from the Etherian ships, coming down, he came with music. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And they came with hip-hop, reggae, soca, calypso. Goddamn, he came with all the music back then that we now probably getting. So that's the point of Apollo. Apollo came with symmetry and music, and he also came with the evolution of the physiology of the human race. Another race came out. Because in the lower books of Apollo, it talks about it. A new race that came about. We're going to get to it. So now, verse 6. Proclaim ye Apollo in heaven and on earth. He is risen higher than the sun is the holy begotten of Jehovah. Out of the virgin Ma, which is earth, is he come holy. In symmetry, music, there is none like Apollo. Verse 7. She was my betrothed from the foundation of the world, spouse of your creator, O God. Her name was Ma, mother of my holy begotten son. And Ma in the Oahspe is earth. Verse 8. There were without shapeliness before me. See that? Shapeliness. So that was before the female had the nice shape with the hourglass. Before that, they wasn't rocking like that. But when Apollo came, Apollo is the one who gave you the body you got today, females. Apollo was the one who gave you the body you got today, men. Apollo was behind that. He says, they were without shapeliness before me. They looted about on earth. They looted in heaven. On their hunches waited they hungrily. So they describing men at the time when Apollo came, the condition of man was still that of beasts. Still hunched over like this, tongue out, looking like a dog. You know how some people be having their face looking like, yo, nigga, fix up your face, boy, you looking crazy right now. They looking like that all day. Verse 9. The virgin bowed down, for her firstborn was the Redeemer of the world. In stone and wood and copper and gold and silver is he stronger than 10 cities, and wiser than 10,000 men. Verse 10. He cometh to the young mother's dream, and shaped their unborn, with limbs like a racer, and with long hair on the head. He standeth in the idol, and knoweth the mother's prayer. Every day, who calleth on the name Apollo, calleth on the Father, creator of all things. Blessed are the lords of Apollo. Blessed are the sons and daughters of Apollo. Blessed are they that bring forth in shapeliness like my son Apollo. This mark have I put up before all women under the sun. The young woman before marriage, and before the young men before marriage, choose ye of them in the likeness of Apollo. Your hair shall glorify your creator. Apollo is my judge. He sitteth on my right hand. Swifter than an arrow is judgment of the woman's firstborn. So, what Apollo did, he did two things. He came with music and symmetry, but what also he did, he created, they created images of a perfectly shapely man and woman, like a perfectly shaped sculpture of a man and woman. And what they did was the women observed these images, and the angels induced the women by observing the images. And by observing the images of these perfectly sculptured men and women, the thought molded the unborn seed. Through the thought and the inducement by the angels, the seed was molded to come out in perfect or in better shapeliness than their predecessors. And that's what I found interesting in the Oahspe, because it stated that the mind was capable of doing that, shaping the form of the unborn. So I said, wow, what a strategy to use to shape the unborn. And I'm going to go to a verse where it actually speaks on that in the lower book. Because I was like, yo, that's some deep, deep, deep shit right there. Like, wow. They shaping the unborn through the mind based off what they see. Based off this perfect, because the reason they put the image up, because there was no man or woman with the perfectly shaped image to mold themselves after. So by observing the image and being induced like in a trance while pregnant, it came out that the seed came out with shapeliness based off of that that practice, I should say. I was like, damn, that's some deep shit. It was kind of spooked out when I read it, but I was like, deep nonetheless. Because who would ever think of a tactic like that? Let me see where it said. Yo, that shit had me tripping. I was like, yo, this is wild. But it makes sense. It makes plenty of sense, because you could mold your seed. Who the hell tells you can't? Let me see. I was trying to find that particular verse, boy. That shit was powerful. I don't know if it's in the lower book or the upper book, I'll just start here. I'll just start here. Alright, so check it. Now, this is the Lord's third book, chapter 1. We're going to start from verse 23. The Lord said, long have I prophesied through my chosen, the Ions. Now will I raise up prophets amongst the Ahuins, the copper-colored race. So the time of Apollo was the time that they rose up prophets of the copper-colored race. This the temple, verse 24. This is the temple ye shall build unto the great spirit, and his kingdom in Haiti. Verse 25. Two peoples there are before my judgment, saith the Lord. The one that hears not the voice of God, nor knoweth him, but the other people know me, and endeavor to obey my commandments. Verse 26. And God was weary with the laboring for the Ions, for they went more after the way of darkness than light. That's the copper-colored people. See, niggas always fucking with the darkness than light. Niggas always practicing evil and trying to come to the light. Even right now, niggas out here shooting shit up, practicing evil instead of trying to be in the light. And that's the copper-colored people. Verse 27. And the Lord called hence his guardian angels, leaving the Ahuins alone for a season. And the spirits of darkness came upon them and obsessed them. And in that same time, the Lord caused his chosen to display the mold of their thighs and their short shapely arms. And the Ahuins tempted them contrary to law. So it came to pass that the Ahuin women boasted of their conquest, bringing forth hairs of more shapeliness. So there was a new breed that came across when the Ahuins and the Ions interbred. And it stated, now in course of time these grew to be men and women, and beheld they had the gift of prophecy, and of seeing visions, and of hearing the voice of angels in heaven. And they were called Anguigan, signifying good-shaped men. See that? Good-shaped men. Like I was saying earlier, the purpose of Apollo not only was to bring symmetry in music, but to beautify the human shape. Give it more structure, give it more form, give it more comeliness, shapeliness. See that? Chapter 2 states, God said, suffer not the Angui to dwell with the Ions, lest thy seed of my chosen be lost. The Angui came in suddenly into the world, came in north, south, east, west, and by thousands of thousands they had long hair, black and coarse, but their skin was brown, copper color, and their arms were short like the Ions. Very proud were the Angui. They would not mix with the Ahuins, and they dare not mix with the sacred little people because of the commandment of the Lord. So you have three peoples at this particular time: the Ions, the Ahuins, and the Anguigan. The sacred little people, the copper-colored people, and another set of copper-colored people. So you got two groups of copper-colored people, because it says the Angui came into the world suddenly. He said their hair was long, black and coarse, but their skin was brown, copper-colored. So this new breed of people that came about by the Ahuins and the Ions were copper-colored. And it stated here that it says the prophets amongst the Ions, the copper-colored race. So you got two copper-colored races, and then the sacred little people going on. That's what you got going on as far as skin complexion. But check it. So the Angui became a new race in the world, having all the symmetry of the Ions and the savageness of the Ahuins, and being feeders of flesh and fish, fell under the dominions of angels of the lower heavens, and they rejected Adonai El, the Lord God. So during the time of Apollo is when the Angui, the copper, another set of copper-colored people came in. So you had two copper-colored people. You got the Ahuins, the original copper-colored race, and then you got the Angui, or the Gans, the next copper-colored race. Yes, Stephen, lodge up yourself, yeah. All praises to the Most High. Peace. Y'all so fit in the building. I see you, King. Cosmo Cal tapping in. Peace to the righteous gods. So that's it on Apollo, man. We just want to touch on how Apollo came to bring symmetry in music and bring beauty to the human shape, bring symmetry, bring shapeliness. Because at one time, man wasn't considering the shape of women, and women wasn't considering the shape of men, and not like that. Now we looking like damn near the perfect human beings right now in this day and age. You dig? Create a gang. Irish, what's good? Selah, can you give me some insight into this verse? When the king slew himself and went to hell, he saw millions, and fire went up around about him, and he said the pain felt like salt and laceration. Yeah, you talking about the story of Zarathustra. If you can get chapter and verse, that'll be great. But that's the story of Zarathustra, when the king, he killed himself, and he basically experienced hell. And when Zarathustra brought him back, he described what he saw. And he was like, yo, what I gotta do to prevent that shit? And Zarathustra like, yo, gotta go out there and serve others in righteousness, you know what I mean? Help the poor. You see some shit like that, nigga, your ass gonna be running headlong to help the poor. If you was cast in hell, but seeing what the king saw. But yeah, that's in the story of Zarathustra. That's when the king committed suicide. So he basically saw hell, basically, to sum it up. He saw hell. He got a glimpse of what the hell is like. And he came to his senses. The nigga had to kill himself, see hell, come back to get to his senses. You know what I mean? I don't know if I got that verse chapter, because Zarathustra, that's a large story. But in a nutshell, that's basically what it is, yo. The king committed suicide. He saw hell. He saw the lower hells. Let me read to you what the king saw. This is what the king saw right here. This is what the king saw when the king slit his bowels, slit his belly, and his belly went open, and he saw hell. This is what he saw, family. To answer your question, Iris, this is what he saw in spirit. This is in the Book of Jehovah, chapter 8, starting from verse 5. With foul gases of atmospheria shall they make weapons of war in places of torment. And these elements shall they make suffocating hells in order to cast one another in chaos. So that suffocating smell that he experienced is exactly what this verse is saying. Suffocating hells coming from where? Foul gases of atmospheria. And verse 6 states, mortals who shall be slain in war shall be born in chaos. Born in spirit in chaos on the battlefield. In chaos shall such spirits enter the spirit world, and they shall not know that they are dead as to earth life, but shall still keep fighting right and left. An enemy shall take enemy in these heavens, and cast them in places of torment, and they shall have which they have built, and they shall not know peace nor wisdom. So basically, that's what the king during the time of Zarathustra, who committed suicide, that's what he saw. He got a glimpse of that shit. And when he got a glimpse of that shit and was able to come back through Zarathustra, because Zarathustra raised him, the nigga said, yo, what I gotta do to avoid that? I don't want to end up like that. What I gotta do to avoid that? And he told him, he said, yo, you gotta serve others in righteousness, beloved. Let me see if I can find that. Because the story of Zarathustra is a big story, but I could just go to that verse, that precept, and just drive the point home that as far as hell, that's what he saw when he committed suicide. He slit his bowels, and he saw his goddamn self in hell. Yeah, yo, the story of Zarathustra is an ill one. It's an ill one if you ain't read it. Can spirits feel the pain of fire in hell? Depending on the fire. Just like this fire right here, that shit ain't really fucking with me like that. But if I turn this bitch up and try that shit, my shit'll be smoking. So they have different volumes of light in the heavens that they could turn up. Like a lot of times, the Etherian gods, they got to turn down their light in order to manage with us. Because if they turn that shit up, nigga, everything will go up in damn near fire. You know what I mean? So yeah, you could, as a spirit, you could feel the fire if the fire is moving at a capacity, is moving at a great, you know what I mean? If that shit is well tortured, it's well lit up. So if the fire is like this, the spirits can, you know, nothing. If they got walls of fucking fire and shit like that, and them fire walls is like on some fiery furnace shit, then yeah. Because the Oahspe say they make walls of fire, that, like the verse states right here. It states, look. It says, with foul gases of atmosphere shall they make weapons of war in places of torment. With these elements shall they make suffocating hells in order to cast one another in chaos. So they'll create these fiery and smoke clouds to cast you in. And the shit be so thick and the fire be so strong, you can't escape the shit. It's like being in a burning house and the fire's going to a point where you can't just run through that motherfucker. It done past the point where you could just run through the fire and make it out. That shit is like a fiery inferno. So it's kind of similar like that. You dig? Awaken to the truth. I see you. Peace to the fam. Chiming in. You know what I mean? So yeah, the spirits definitely can feel the fire. They can feel that heat. That's why a lot of times the angels got to fall in their face. They bow down. The whole concept of bowing down came from the fire, or the light, I should say, of the higher angels or true God. Like say we just a new host of new initiates coming into the kingdom of true God. And then we actually behold one of the ceremonies and we close up and true God turn on his light. That light will be so bright, we're going to do this. We're going to fall, we're going to prostrate. That's where the whole thing of prostrating comes from. It comes from the light being too strong to bear, so you got to prostrate and cover up. You got to submit to the light. You dig? And then when you're able to withstand the light, that's when you could stand up and bear the light and be standing within the volume of light and heat that comes with that. Because angels are bodies of light. And with light comes heat and warmth. You dig? So the angels in the third heaven, they moving at a capacity and frequency of light and the volume of such light that an angel in the first heaven, that shit'll burn them. Because the light is too much for it. They can't bear it. You know what I'm saying? Talk about how the Creator don't answer earthly prayers. Yeah. The Creator don't answer earthly prayers. The only way the Creator will answer earthly prayers is if that earthly prayer is in service done unto others to help others in need. And you are the body that's going to do the work to help others, that's when he'll answer the earthly prayer. But if you're praying for a house, if you're praying for a car, you ain't going to get an answer from the Creator. You probably get an answer, but it's not going to be from the Creator because you have false gods, false angels, fallen ones, and their duty is to look for hosts. Their duty is to look for subjects. So if you can answer their prayer and then speak to them in their dreams and convince them, and now they worshiping in you, you got you a host. So when they cross over in spirit, you gave them everything they wanted in their physical life. You gave them their house, their cars, and when you cross over in spirit, you owe them. He's going to say, I'm the one who gave you that house. I'm the one who gave you that car. I'm your God. And you're going to submit because you're going to be like, well, damn, yeah, you're right. What I got to do for you, God? You see how that works? That's how that works. So if you worship earthly things and you thinking it's God, so if you got a house and you say, thank you, God, and you think God gave you that house, you got another thing coming. You know, I ain't gonna sit there and say like the Creator ain't gonna bless you, because you know what I mean? The Creator don't want to see niggas in poverty and shit. So if you trying to better yourself and get out, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with that. But the service done unto others in righteousness is how you get the greatest out of the Creator. Alright. Most earthly prayers are answered by lying spirits of the lower heavens. Right. So if you're talking about like your TD Jakes and your goddamn Creflo dollars and they in the church praying that you get prosperity and shit, them niggas is being answered by drudgy and spirits. You see what I'm saying? But if you got a homeless person out there helping people, doing the best he could do, and he prays that he gets shelter, somewhere to shelter him, and he gets an apartment, then that's from the Creator. So with that, you got to know how to differentiate the variables of that which is a prayer that is to the Creator, although it may be for something earthly, in comparison to an earthly prayer in possession of something for yourself personal gain. You know what I mean? If it's for your self personal gain, something materialistic, you're going to always be answered by a lion or spirit, an earthly spirit, a spirit of darkness, whatever title you want to bestow on them. But if you say, yo, Jaja, you know what I mean, give me strength and power to go out here and help anybody I see that may need assistance in my goodness, you know what I mean, then when you're doing service like that, he'll boom, all right, we got one over here. He done figured it out. He done figured out how to get to my ear by doing service to the others and do that work. That's how you're gonna know. That's how you're gonna know who's serving the Creator now, and that's how you're gonna see things start opening up for you. Can you do the difference between the Ayans, the Ahuans, the Gans, the Persian drunks? I'm going to do a lesson on that. I'm going to actually put it together because I want to show illustrations for that. Because we are best taught with illustrations. I could give it to you off the dome, but it's not going to, it's going to be hard to follow because you're dealing with cross breeding and things of that nature. So I'm going to put that together for you. I got you, sis. The Ayans. Because you know in the Oahspe it describes the Ayans as many complected, the Ayans of Ham. So if they had Ayans of Ham, they had to have Ayans of Shem, they had to have Ayans of Japheth, they had to have Ayans of Gautama, they had to have Ayans of Yesta, Japan. You dig? You know. And not only that, you had the Yaks too, sis. So you got the Ayans. I'll just read. Now I'll give a boy exclusive breakdown, but I'll just give you the first breakdown of it in the book. It says the Ayans. Book of the First Lord, chapter 1. It says, and it came to pass that a new race born on the earth, and these were called Ayans because they were begotten of both heaven and earth. Hence, it became a saying, the earth conceived of the Lord. And that's what you find in the Eve story, when Eve say, I conceived of the Lord. This is where it really is talking about the conversion between Asu, animal man, and angels. See that? When we come to verse 2, it says, the Lord brought the angels of heaven to man. By his side took they on form like unto man, having all the organs meaning reproductive system, and attributes of mortals. For it was the time of the earth for such things to be. And it came to pass that a new race was born on the earth, and they were called Ayans, because they were begotten of both heaven and earth. Hence it became a saying, the earth conceived of the Lord. And the name of the first race was Asu, in parentheses, Adam, the Adamites, because they were of the earth only. So the Asu, the Adamites, when Jaja created man on the earth, that was the first species, the first race of man. Asu, they were of the earth only, meaning that they had no heavenly inspiration. They was created from the earth only. And the name of the second race was called Abel, or Ayans, because they were capable of being taught spiritual things. That's the difference between the Asu and the new race called the Abelites, or the Ayans. The Ayans were capable of being taught spiritual things. Asu wasn't capable of being taught spiritual things because he was of the earth only. You know what I mean? When they talk about what's that? The evolution. When they try to say our common ancestor, Asu was our common ancestor. Asu was of the earth only. They try to say sometimes, oh, we come from monkeys, or we come from the rhesus monkey, or we come from gorillas, or whatever. No, we come from an early race of man that was animalistic in his nature, in his development. He was of the earth only. And then it says the name of the race of the second people was Abel, because they were capable of being taught spiritual things. And being capable of being taught spiritual things means that you will be capable of surviving spiritually after death. That's why Asu went extinct, because he was of the earth only. He wasn't able to survive spiritually. So those were the only two races, the Adamites and the Ions, because the angels gave up their body. So that's what you had on the place of the planet, those two races, the Adamites and the angels. And then the next time there was an interbreeding was in verse 13, where it states, and he strayed out the garden of paradise and began to dwell with Asu, meaning the Ayin. So the sacred little people began to dwell with the Adamites, and there were born into the world a new race called drunks, Cain. And they had not the light of the Father in them, neither could they be inspired with shame, nor of heavenly things. So these are like a degree up from the Asu, the Adamites, the drunks. They couldn't be taught nothing of the Father. They were born in darkness as well. So now you got three races: the Adamites, the Ions, and the drunks. So you got Cain and Abel and Asu. So there go your Adam, Abel, and Cain. But in the Oahspe, it's Asu, Ion, and drunk. And those races came on the scene. And then the next time, you get into another crossbreed of races is when you get in chapter 2, verse 5. The copper colored people ain't on the scene yet. These are just the drunks. So these are just the drunks and the Ions and the Asu. So in chapter 2, it starts off by saying that the time of the inhabitation of Asu, the very first race, was 8,000 years, and they survived 2,000 years after that, after the time of the birth of the Ions. Which is to say, Asu dwelt on the earth 6,000 years, then conceived of the chosen of God, the Ions. After that, survived yet 2,000 years, and Asu dissipated off the face of the earth. So Asu only survived 8,000 years as a whole species, from their creation to their extinction. Their life expansion on the planet was real short. And then it states what? And there remained on the earth the sacred people, the Ions, and the carnivorous people, the drunks. The Ions were white and yellow, but the drunks were brown and black. The Ions were small and slender, but the drunks were tall and stout. So they give you a description. And that's where most controversy from the Oahspe is going to start, with most people of color. Because they're going to see the Ions being white and yellow, and the first they're going to think about is Europeans. We already cleared up that that's not the case, so we can move forward. So now you have those two people on the planet, the Ions and the drunks. So you got white and yellow, or albino, and you got brown and black. Now keep in mind, this is primitive man. So this is a time where the shape of man ain't looking like how we look. See, that's what we forget. We'll read these beginning stories and we're looking at man like how we look at ourselves. No. You're looking at man at a time where, like I said, he had more hair covering his whole body. He was more stooped and hunched over, not walking totally upright. You know what I mean? These were those races of men. So again, those were the two people left on the planet, the Ions and the drunks at that time. And then what came after that? Another set of race came. And it says, now, because the drunks had not previously obeyed the Lord, but went and dwelt with Asu, there was a half-breed race born on earth called Yaks, signifying ground people. Now these ground people that signify Yaks, those would be considered your Bigfoots. Hold on for 1 second, family. Yes, family. So now the next race is when the drunks interbreed back in with the Asu and create in a more devolved race called the Yaks. The Yaks signifying ground people. They buried in the ground like beasts of the forest. And the Yaks did not walk wholly upright, but also went on all fours. So these are the earliest races of man that they're talking about in the Oahspe. This is before the copper color race. You had the Asuans, the Ions, the Drunks, and the Yaks. 4 branches, all related to each other, all interbred and all interconnected. But Jehovah was telling you, like, yo, don't interbreed with these people, because if you do, your seed gonna go down in darkness, because these niggas ain't got the light of the Father in them. And when they interbred back in them, boom, you created a race that is not capable of the Father, well, at this particular time. But then they begin to learn, and some of them was able to be saved. I'll read that too. So there you had it. It says, God said, because the Yaks cannot be taught the crime of incest, behold, they shall not dwell forever on the earth. See that? They're going to go out into extinction, spiritually, physically at the same time. So also shall it be with the drunks, except wherein they cohabit with the Ions. So if the drunks got to interbreed back in with the Ions, whose seed is born unto everlasting life. But the drunks and their hearers that spring from the Yaks, there shall be an end, both in this world and the next. See that? So the drunks that spring from the Yaks, the Bigfoots, they're going to come in extinction in this world and in the spiritual world. And the Yaks are basically what you consider Sasquatch, Bigfoot. That's what a Yak is in the Oahspe. So now, let's see. Now we're going to come to the next race of people. Now here's where the drunks got a little bit of concept of spirituality, and the spirit was quickened within them to bring forth hairs of everlasting life. So check it. Let me see what I start with this. Alright, so check it. Let me start from verse 12. And man built unto the Lord and established worship on earth after the manner of heaven, as above, so below as above. Verse 13. Now it came to pass that the drunks came to witness the rites and ceremonies of the chosen, but they took no part therein, neither comprehended they the meaning thereof. So these drunks, they came in as just watching the rites and ceremonies of the Ions. So they just observing, like, all right, what they got going on over there? That's what they got going on. So verse 14. And God said unto the Ions, that ye may teach some of them of the Lord your God, build ye within the house of worship an image of me, in likeness of man build ye it, and I will manifest unto as many as are capable of everlasting life. See that? So right here, God is using a stratagem. He said, yo, make me an image, and I'm going to manifest through that image, and those who comprehend, it's going to be quickened with the seed of life to be producing hairs of everlasting life. See, this shit is the variables. This shit is strategy at the same time. And this is that time when God is dealing with primitive man. So he's using primitive methods to basically rise the consciousness of man. So check it. And the Ions, men and women, with their servants, built images of stones and clay and wood unto the Lord, and stood them by the altars of sacrifice. And in the time of worship, the angels of the Lord came and possessed the idols and spoke therefrom. With audible voices spoke before mortals. So the angels come and acted on the idols and spoke through the idols. When I first read that, the first thing I thought about was them damn idols in Egypt, yo. I say, yo, what happens if them niggas was doing this same thing in Egypt? Look what it stated. It says, but the Iron men and women with their servants built images of stone and clay and wood unto the Lord, and stood them by the altars of sacrifice. And in the time of worship, the angels of the Lord came and possessed the idols, and spoke therefrom with audible voices, spoke before mortals. So check it. All this is being done for for the drunks. This is the regular rites and ceremonies that the Ions do, but once the Lord, once God realized the drunks was looking, he said, all right, do this. I'm going to convince these niggas, but do this. And this is going to be the method to convince these niggas over here, these drunks. So again, verse 17. And the drunks inquired of the Ions as to the cause thereof. So the drunks seeing it's like, yo, how is this possible? The idol is talking, what is the cause thereof? That's what the drunks are asking. And the Ions said, behold, there is a God in heaven, more subtile than the air of heaven. He it was that brought us forth out of darkness. He speaketh in idle, that ye may know he abides with his people. See that? This shit ain't for God for you to. This is for you to comprehend what's going on, drunks, Canaanites. So you could be capable of everlasting life, because you in darkness right now. So these are the stratagems that God is using through the Ions, through the rites and ceremonies, speaking through the idols, to make the drunks ponder. And that's the question. That's the game plan here. So again, it states, the drunk said, verse 18, what saith he? The Ions answered, saying, whatsoever hath attained to remember God is in the way of everlasting life. See that? Just remembering. You know what I mean? These niggas wasn't thinking about God. They said to remember. Just remember God, nigga. That's a start. That's what the Ions are telling the drunk. Just remember. Because keep in mind, this is the very first arc cycle after the creation of man. This is the very first races on the planet. So you have those races, some capable of the light of the Creator, while you have others that are in total darkness of the ways of the Creator. And this is the blueprint and method to raise up the drunks in this particular time, through the idols. See that? So now, verse 19. The drunks inquired, saying, let me go back to 18. The drunk said, what saith he? Meaning God. The Ion answered, saying, that whosoever hath attained to remember God is in the way of everlasting life. The drunks inquired, saying, how shall a man live forever? See that? They don't know about this shit. They just created on the planet. The Ions already up on game. But the drunks is behind. They like everlasting life. What you mean by that? And what they say? The drunks inquired, saying, how shall a man live forever? Hold on. Yeah. And the drunks inquired, saying, how shall a man live forever? Behold, ye that believe also die. So he said, yeah, you know what I mean? But you believing in this, you still gonna die too, though. So what you saying? Verse 20. The Ions answered, saying, as the voice of the Lord is unseen but potent, so is the spirit in man unseen and potent, which shall never die, but ascend in heaven to inhabitations prepared by the Lord. Here's the catcher. Verse 21. And many of the drunks pondered on these things, and their thoughts, see that? Their thoughts quickened in their soul within them, so that they brought forth heirs unto eternal salvation. See that? The thought had to be quickened for them niggas to get it. Once they got it, they like, oh, that's what's going on? All right, we get it now. Yo, do these rites and ceremonies so when we cross over, we'll have a place in the Lord. They got it. And once they got it, their soul was quickened. And what did it say? Now they could bring forth to hearers of everlasting life. You know why? Because he gonna teach that shit to his seed. So again, the verse states what? And many of the drunks pondered on these things, and their thoughts quickened their souls within them, so that they brought forth heirs unto eternal salvation. Now they brought heirs unto eternal salvation among themselves, without interbreeding back into the Ions at this particular time. So the drunks that was interbreeding with themselves was producing ones capable of eternal life, just by understanding that concept that the Ions told them. See that? And the Lord said unto the Ions, because ye have done a good thing, because now the Ions did a good thing, because now you done raised up these niggas. Now they capable of everlasting life based off what you showed them through the rites and ceremonies and the angels speaking through the idols. So now the Lord is saying, the Lord said unto the Ions, because ye done a good thing, go ye abroad by the roadsides and other places and build images unto me in mine. And my angel shall bestow gifts and signs and miracles. And the ions cover the roadways of the earth with idols of stone and wood and clay. And the angels of heaven descended to the idols and established thereabout heavenly kingdoms. And when man came hither and called on the name of the Lord, it was as a password for the angels. And they worked miracles and otherwise gave evidence unto man of the unseen. See that? And those things were set up for the non-believers. You know what I mean? So yeah. But if I go places with that thing there, yeah? So we done went from that to that. And that's going on before the copper color race. The copper color race come on the scene later. The copper color people, verse 24, and there began to be a new tribe on the earth. They were called Ahuins because they were half-breed between the drunks and the ions. So the drunks and the ions produced the Ahuins. And the Ahuins were red like copper, and they were taller and stronger than any other people in the world. And the Lord commanded them, saying, protect ye the ions, the little people, white and yellow. Call them the sacred people, for ye are of them, and ye are also of the Lord your God. So, if the Ahuins came out copper colored, you're gonna take off the colors of your parents. So that means that the drunks were definitely, there was brown and black, so that's copper. And the ions is already described as melanated, albino beings, negroic, so they're copper. So that's all taking place within the first arc cycle after the creation of man. So you have the angels that interbred with the Asus producing the ions. Then from the ions, you got the drunks. Then from the drunks, you got the yaks. And then from the yaks, you got the Ahuins. And there you have it. And then from the Ahuins and the ions, you get the Angui. So now, in that very first arc cycle as well, this also took place. Now, this is in the book of the same book, chapter 4, where it states, chapter 8, in those days, the relative portion of the races of men were ions, 100, Ahuins, 300, drunks, 5,000, yaks, 5,000, and of monstrosites between man and beast. In the Oahspe, it talks about monstrosites, the mixture between man and beast. So that whole shit with the goddamn half horse, half unicorn, half human, that shit may not be too far-fetched because it talks about monstrosites. That means man was having sex with animals and producing monstrosites. I was like, damn. So it says, and of monstrosites between man and beast, 3,000. So that was the proportion. So, because in the verse it says, in those days, the relative proportion. So you only had 100 ions, 300 Ahuins. But what covered the earth mainly was the drunks, 5,000, the yaks, 5,000, monstrosites, beast, and man, 3,000. So these niggas had to been humping all day to populate in those numbers in comparison to the ions and the Ahuins, who was in a very small number. So the earth was dominated in darkness. You got 5,000 spirits of darkness. 5,000 humans on some subhuman shit. These niggas is interbreeding, creating monstrosites. But check this. Look what happened. Verse 9. And God saw the work of destruction going on, of the Ahuins slaughtering right and left. And he sent the ions to preach amongst them, saying to the ions, thus saith ye to the Ahuins, whosoever is created alive, kill not, for it is the commandment of the Lord. Verse 11. For in the time of your most success, in slaughtering your fellow men, ye are also peopling heaven with the spirits of vengeance. Vengeance is mine. When your God say vengeance is mine, that's talking about a nigga who done got slain and he's pissed off, and vengeance is on his spirit. So what did the verse say? For in the time of your most success in slaughtering your fellow men, ye are also peopling heaven with the spirits of vengeance, and they will return upon you. And even the Ahuans shall turn upon one another. Thus saith God. But the Ahuans understood not, believed not. And it came to pass that great darkness covered the earth. And man, except few Ains, gave up to the wickedness all his days. Even the Ains gave up to wickedness. When you see the little leprechaun doing evil shit, the little, you got tales of little wicked trickery Ains too. The leprechaun, and there's other little tales. It's the one in the Caribbeans where they talk about the short little man, the trickery man, the trickster. You know what I'm saying? But he's an iron though. So what did the verse say? But the Ahuans understood not, believed not, and it came to pass that great darkness covered the earth, and man, except few Irons, gave up to wickedness all his days. So a great number of Irons gave up to wickedness. And this is the first arc cycle after the creation of man. Verse 13. And the Lord's people worshipped and preached in the temple, and the Lord and his heavenly host manifest unto them. But all other races of men heard not, would not come to learn of God. Verse 14. And the Lord became tired in his labor. See that? And he called his angels to him, and he said unto them, Behold, man on earth hath gone so far from my ways, he will not heed my commandments. He cannot hear my voice. And your labor is in vain also. For which reason we will tarry no longer on earth, till man hath exhausted the evil that is in him. Verse 16. So the Lord and his angel host departed away from the earth, and clouds came over the face of the earth, and the moon shone not, and the sun was only as a red coal of fire, and the stars stood in the firmament as well in the day as at night. See that? A time of Ajah. Verse 17. The harvest failed, the trees yielded not nuts, and the roots of which man feedeth ceased to grow. Verse 18. And the monstrosites and the yaks and the drunks died off, tens of millions of them, and even yet they were not extinct. Nevertheless, the Ahuans suffered less, and the Ayans not at all. For the Lord had previously inspired them to prepare against the coming famine. So it was a famine that came. And the Lord bewailed the earth and the generations of men. I made man upright and walked by his side, but he slips aside and fall, saith the Lord. I admonished him, but he would not heed. I showed him that every living creature brought forth is its own kind, but he would not understand nor believe. And he dwelt with the beasts, falling lower than all the rest. So it shows you the condition of man in these early times, these early cycles. The very first, that's the very first 3,000 years. From the creation of the new races, 3,000 years, that's what's going on. You got monstrosites, you got Bigfoots, you got all type of monstrosities going on in the first cycle after the creation of man. You dig? You know what I mean? Better for you to be living now than to be living then in comparison to what you would have seen. You know what I mean? The crossbreeds between man and beast. I'm like, damn, what the fuck that shit could have looked like? Yeah, yo. So that's what's going on with that shit, bro. Dealing with these different races. That's all within the first arc cycle after the creation of man. You know what I mean? These monstrosites. Now when you think about these goddamn greys and reptilians and all these different you know what I mean, so-called extraterrestrial beings. These niggas could be mixed breeds from old. Monstrocytes that survive from old. Yeah, wow. Yes, Akia Ramsey, you don't know the vibes, yeah. It's the vibes. Like I said, that was the very first race of men. And then when you got all that going on, and then comes the flood. Then comes the flood to wash away the sins of man. Jehovah decreed it to sink a whole continent because man had descended down to barbarianism, beast. You think we doing bad now? Shit. America's still standing with all the crime. All the continents are still standing with all the destruction we doing. But for Jehovah decreed to sink a continent, niggas had to been really fucking up, yo. Niggas really had to be fucking up for Jaja to say, you know what, I'ma sink this motherfucker. I'ma leave a sign for these niggas on their planet. I'ma sink this continent. And let them know the powers of the Etherian angels through the Creator. Vortexian power, yo. That's exactly what it is. This is the reason why they had to sink this continent, man. What that verse said. Verse in the book of Synopsis of 16 Cycles, chapter 3, verse 16, gives you the reason why. Verse 16 states, now the council delivered. So what I read earlier was the first arc cycle after the creation of man. And you had yaks, Bigfoots, you had monstrocytes, the crossbreeds between man and beast. You had all that going on in the first arc cycle. And then a lot of them got wiped out, but they were still here. So you got all that going on leading up to the 16th arc cycle. That's what's going on here. So you still got all that leading up. So here it states, now the council deliberated, and after a while caused the records of the earth and her heavens to be examined. And they discovered that the heavens of the land of Waga, Pan, was beyond redemption because of the great number of the spirits of cannibals. Key point right there. The great number of spirits of cannibals. You know what? Let me do something, King. Let me pull it up for y'all so y'all can see. Let me see. Let me see here. Where we reading them? Synopsis of 16 cycles. Synopsis of 16 cycles, chapter 3, verse 7:16. Alright. So now, again, this is the synopsis of 16 cycles, chapter 3, verse 16, where it states, and now the council deliberated, and after a while caused the records of the earth and her heavens and her atmosphere to be examined. And they discovered that the heavens of Waga, Pan, was beyond redemption because of the great number of spirits of cannibalism. See that? It was due to the what? It was due to the spirits of cannibals. That's why they're like, all right, we got to sink this motherfucker. Because the spirits of cannibals. And what else? The multitude of fetals. So you got the multitude of fetals and the spirits of cannibals is the reason why this continent is being sunk underwater. And then it states, it was as if a disease in the flesh be healed over externally, leaving the root of the disease within. So was Waga, or Pan, and her heavens. The redemptions of the cycles remain not with her. But evil broke out forever in a new way. See that? So you got evil forever breaking out in a new way. You got the spirits of cannibals. You got a multitude of feedles. You got all this going on this continent. So Jehovah decreed it. Now will I prune the earth and her heavens. Behold, the division of Pan, Waga, shall be hewn off and cast beneath the waters of the oceans. Her heaven shall be no longer tenable by the spirits of destruction. For I will rend the foundation thereof and scatter them in the winds of heaven. See that? But here's the catcher. It's not that he's not doing that out of evil. What did it states? Go ye therefore down to the earth and provide nets and vanquis for receiving the spirits of the dead, of darkness. For receiving the spirits of the dead, of darkness, and for receiving the spirits of mortals, who shall perish in the waters. See that? And provide ye a place in my exalted heavens, suitable for them. And these shall wall them about in heaven, that they cannot escape, but that they must be weaned from evil. See that? They must be what? Weaned from evil. They must be weaned, so they're going to be receiving the spirits of darkness. They're going to be receiving the spirits of mortals who shall perish in the waters. And then look what it states here. It says, taken to my what? My exalted heavens. My exalted heavens, suitable to them, that they may not escape, but may be weaned from evil. See that? So they ain't escaping until they wean from evil. So that's the catcher. That's the follow-up. That's the blueprint. And that's just that on the flood, yo. That's a little quick thing. That's what I was showing you the reason why Judge I brought that flood. Because of the spirits of darkness. And then Jehovah has a plan for the spirits of darkness. By taking them to what? His exalted heavens. Suitable for them. And they're going to be where they cannot escape and shall be weaned from evil. See that? That's the overall plan for the spirits of darkness who perish in the flood. Them niggas not going to be burned in eternal fire, eternal hell. Them niggas going to be delivered and rescued and weaned from evil. See that? That's how the Creator moving, beloved. Because it's a vibes. Let's vibe about 4 minutes. Pull up the music, yeah? Let's bring up the music. Yeah, I like how that sounds. It's a vibes. It's a vibes. Yes, family, two stepping on the dance floor. You know how we moving. You know how we grooving. It's a vibes. It's a vibes, yes, family. Yes, family, have to stay strong. Overcome the wickedness and madness. Overcome the evil inspiration that'll overtake us sometimes. Through trial and error, long suffering, we shall overcome. Cause it's a vibes. Yes, Elijah, me see you on the dance floor. Bronze, me see you. On the lookout, I see you. 1, 2, stepping on the dance floor. You know how we do. Kindred, I see you. Vortexian energy spiraling. Vortexian energy, the first cause of all creation. If your Bible does not talk about Vortexian energy, your Bible is false. It survives. Judge, I say, the vortex is the first cause of all created things. Without a vortex, you cannot have a sun, a moon, and a star. No stability. The vortex is the foundation. The vortex is everything. The vortex is the creator in motion. The physical manifestation of that which a vortex produces, whether it be a sun, moon, star, planet, is the body of the creator. Yes, family, you don't know it's a vibes. It survives. We keeping it live cause it survives. She brewed a midget two-stepping, I see you family. You know how we do. Y'all so fit. My brother, hope you doing well on the road. Keep your eyes open. Yahweh, I see you. It survives. You think Jehovah's kingdom ain't got praise? You think they ain't got order, recreation, and singing? Well, you're mad. All praise to the Creator. The Esanuas are the angel musicians that sing, dance in the name of the Creator. Even in the false gods' heavenly kingdom, they have musician angels. Music is a big part of the procession, of the inauguration of the heavenly kingdom. Arise, O my son, thou son of Jehovah. In thy name, these thy sons I crown, lords of the earth and of the waters of the earth. From the Orion chiefs of Hermons, by the commission do I raise them to the rank of lords for kingdoms of heaven. Peace, wisdom, love, and power. Huh? These are the words of the archangels declaring Jehovah as they inaugurate Sentantes as chief. Real ranks, real big ups to the Creator, huh? Jehovah Almighty, from whom all glories emanate. Arise, O my lords, and be ye lords of Jehovah, for his glory, and be ye the lords of God, having dominion over the earth and the waters of the earth, in wisdom, in love, wisdom, power. Amen. Huh? These are the declarations of Jehovah. These are the words of the high ones giving all praises to the Creator. What you know about the praises to the Creator, yo? We ain't praising no deities over here. Ain't no God worship over here. It survives vibes. These are the wisdom and the words of Jehovah. Y'all ain't ready for this Oahspe? They ain't ready, right, family? They ain't ready? Cause it survives vibes. You know what I mean? These words run deep. The deep centralized wisdoms in the Oahspe. The way these angels talk and big up and give praises to the Creator in the Oahspe is matchless. Huh? Where is a God like unto thee, Jehovah, whose kaleidoscopes is millions of suns, whose breath blew upon thee, O earth, and the voice joined in songs of the stars, whose breath blew upon thee, O earth, and thy fire was congealed, and the heat run low. Sing to the Almighty, ye hearers of Zarathustra, whose flesh was food for the lions. Zarathustra's flesh was food for the lions, in case you forgot. Sing to the Creator, Zarathustra's Almighty, the Eolin that spoke in the winds. Sing to the followers of the Great Spirit, the Zarathustrans, who fortified their flesh and blood for him. Sound loud his name, the Eoah of Zarathustra, that sang him on high. Praise ye the Almighty for Abraham, Brahma, and Poe, and their followers that plodded along in the dark days. Praise ye the Supreme Being, ye followers of them, ye line of the light of the Great Spirit, to glorify the Creator in after generations by the wisdom of his choice, who rise up great harvests in Vindia, Egypt, and China. See that? It says Egypt. Sing ye in his praise forever, the Creator, the Almighty. Shout long and loud in the glory of Jehovah, fashioner of mighty men. It survives. Although Moses and Capelia and Chini sing unto Jehovah, rejoice in the time of the Almighty. It survives. Into separate gardens in the same time the Creator singled ye out unto his own holiness. It survives. Fashion he the Almighty through souls magnified unto the glory of his works. Sing unto the Creator for these that toil in the days of darkness, for the glory of the Almighty. Praise ye the Great Spirit, ye followers of Moshe, Capelia, and Chini. Sing a new song to the Almighty. His eyes hath witnessed the toil and sorrow of his chosen. And all ye followers of the chosen of the Almighty, glorify him in the highest. Sing unto the Great Spirit forever and ever. It survives. The Almighty calleth from the boundaries of the firmament down to the sands of the earth in glory of his creation. It survives. Proclaim his name with the hands of those that knew not speech. Give them the rise. Give them the sign of the rising sun, the high noon, and the shades of evening. It survives. The Almighty, whose breath bloweth millions of worlds in the circuit of the universe, whose pulse is the flight of countless suns and stars. Praise ye the Almighty, whose triumphant encircles the world. Let the races of man proclaim him forever. See how the Oahspe gives glory to the Creator? This book is called the Book of Bond's Praise. This is the equivalent of Psalms in your Bible, the way it reads. Where are thy singers, Jehovah, who hath beholden the vastness of the Creator, and the times and the splendor of thy universe, and the orderation that slumbereth but for a season, and then bursteth like a world of fire, whom thou appointest from time to time to sing unto thee. Sing unto the Almighty. He spinneth the times and millions of years as if but a day, in the fashion and splendor of his works. He opens his heavens as a book is opened, and the prophets of the Creator read the magnitude thereof. It survives. He opens his heavens as a book is opened, and the prophets of the Creator read the magnitude of the works of Jehovah. It survives. Now will I sing unto thee, O Jehovah, a song of soberness. When first thou stoodst me on my feet, and I saw thee, O Jehovah, and thy hand, O my Creator, showed me the two roads, life and death. And thy people divided some to thee, and some to death and adultery. But because of the magnitude of thy person, they set up gods, lords, and saviors before thee. In thy name I called out to them, but they heard not, and they fell down in death before thee. And the voice of sorrow rent the earth. Thy faith sang in the mournful lays of death. In gloom will I sing for my brother that went down in death. That went down in death. In gloom will I sing for my brother that went down in death. That went down in death. Hear the voice of the faith, O Father. Hear the voice of the faithless, O Father. I cry out unto thee thousands of years. In the time of my great affliction have I remembered my Creator. It survives. And my brother who went after death stoned me with curses, smote he the chosen of Jehovah. In the time of sore pain I called out, Jehovah, Jehovah. I said, oh, that this had not been. Oh, that the Great Spirit would enlighten him. But thou shapeth him to fetch him in the last day. And the clouds blew away. The Son of Righteousness shone across the heavens of the earth. In the time of my sorrow, I saw thy wisdom in this. But my pain was delivered through my brother. In thy praise do I now look back to the time of my pains, in the throes of death. In the throes of death. Glory be unto thee, Jehovah, thy everlasting person, who findeth a way in the spoil of thy enemies, to magnify the glory of thy place unto the Almighty. What was my pain before thee, or my affliction more than a mother for the glory of her firstborn? Into my cup of bitterness thou hast poured nectar and sweet crystals. Yes, it survives. These are the Psalms of the Oahspe. These are like the Psalms of David and Solomon. We giving you wisdom and music, symmetry. We giving you Apollo. You dig? It survives, vibes. Jehovah first and last. Forever Jehovah, my beloved. Write him in stone and iron and copper and silver and gold, whose person is the all and whole creator of the boundless universe. Teach ye him to the children. Magnify the soul of men to see Jehovah. It survives. Welcome pains and affliction. Behold, all arise. greater glory. He knows my wanderings. For the feet of the faithful Jehovah provided a place. He understands beforehand the Creator cometh upon me in a way I saw not. In a way I saw not. None shall stand before the Almighty in the songs and praise of the righteous. Praise Jehovah, ye angels of heaven, in the countless place of the journey of the world. Hits of vibes, send forth a song to everlasting. Praise Jehovah. The wisdom of Jehovah is matchless. These are the Psalms and the wisdom of Jehovah being spoken. Sometimes we give you lectures, sometimes we give you a vibe, sometimes we give you a teaching, and sometimes we'll give you Psalms. But this ain't coming from David. This is being uttered by the angels who bear witness to the glories of the Creator. All praises to the Creator. It's a vibes. Him who is mighty in thought, Jehovah, oh my beloved. He but conceived, and lo and behold, creation is done, oh my beloved. Jehovah the Creator, Almighty, oh my beloved, sing unto Him forever. See that? The Oahspe is telling you that Jehovah's the Creator. The Oahspe is telling you that Yahuwah is Creator and not an Elohim or Adonai to be looked upon like you see your fellow brother. All men know Him, none deny Him, the Creator. Who quickens into life all the living out of the Almighty? Whose knowledge knoweth all, the whence and thence, Jehovah. Before whom even gods cry out, all is in thee, O Jehovah. Huh? What did the verse say? It's a vibes. Before whom even gods, Elohims cry out, all is in thee, O Yahuwah. It's a vibes. About what under the sun cannot men differ but the mightiness of Jehovah? Wherein the heavens have the angels found the boundaries or come to determination? About whose magnitude and existence cannot they differ? But indeed, Thou Almighty, Thou alone are the soul and the substance, the only one, the all, the keynote of harmony, Jehovah. We reading the Psalms of Jehovah. Jehovah is the Creator. That's who we rocking with. You ain't gonna get this from your Bible. The Oahspe is showing you how these angels and mortals are giving reverence to the Creator above the Elohims, above the Adonais, above the Lords. That's why we rock with the Oahspe the way we rock with it, because it declares the Creator on a whole nother level. This is why we offer challenges and debates and discussions, because it declares the Creator above the Elohims, in whom you serve in your Bible. It's a vibes. Yes, family, we vibing out, yeah? We vibing out, yeah? We on that spaceship, and them Psalms of Jehovah being read while we transversing the universe, you dig? Yes, large up to all the sons and daughters of the Creator. That's exactly how we're moving. We bear witness of the Creator through creation, and creation is the body of the Creator. Creation is the physical manifestation of the body, the physical body of the Creator. So the way we see Creator is through creation. And creation is created by the unseen, which is the Vortex, which is the driving force of the Creator. The Creator impregnated itself and conceived itself immaculately. Huh? The Creator is the only one who can do immaculate conception. Huh? Talk to me. It's a vibe. The creator through vortexian energy impregnates and then immaculates and then gives forth. A virgin is born. It's a vibes. Yes, I, sons and daughters of the creator. We vibing. We vibing out. Cause it's a vibes, vibes, vibes. What I'm saying? My thousands, millions rejoice in Jehovah, thou creator of millions of heavens, stretch forth. Oh, that I could find comparisons for mortals, to tell them of the glory of my heavens. So the angel like, yo, if I could find a comparison to show you what the heavens is like. Huh? For places of my learning and factories and ship buildings, shaping vessels for coursing the firmament of the Almighty, of the rules and philosophy of the delight of my heavens. Oh, that I could show them the discipline of my thousand millions, my army of Jehovah. See that? That's gang gang. The armies of Jehovah is gang gang. He said, what? Oh, that I could show them the discipline of my thousand millions, of my armies of Jehovah, huh? Of my gangs of Jehovah, huh? Their high wisdom and their power over the elements created by the Almighty. Verse 7. Oh, that mortals could see my high arched, my heavenly forests and mountains. Oh, that mortals understood to inhabit a world within as well as without. To know the solutions of Jehovah's worlds and the orderly arrangement of the unseen. Praise be unto thee, Jehovah, the provider for the heavens. For Hadin, with her thousands of millions. It survives. See that? Yes, that's how Jehovah word and read. Yes, family. You know how we vibe out. Showing you the wisdom and praises of Jehovah. Cause it's a vibes, vibes, vibes. We gonna vibe out. Just some wisdom of Jehovah we had to display. Cause it's a vibes, vibes. And we out, family. Till next time. 101 and tools. Cause it's a vibes.
Sweet Herbals, where the taste is bitter, but the results are sweet. BittersweetHerbals.com. Bittersweet Herbals, where the taste is bitter, but the results are sweet. BittersweetHerbals.com.